Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Live Market Analysis USA edition. For all of you Aussie investors out there, I'm going to shake you out of your comfort zone. We're going to head over to America and find the best of the best Uncle Sam has to offer. If you've been watching me for any period of time, you know the drill here. It's Q&A from you. It's technical and fundamental analysis for me. There should be a window somewhere on your Zoom that you can type in your requests. Please give me an accurate ticker code, preferably rather than the actual stock name. If you're watching me on any of the streaming services there on YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, or Facebook, there should be a way you can do the same as well. Let me head first and foremost, where we tend to head first and foremost. I should have changed the screen there and had me not have my picture on there, it doesn't matter, to the charts. And we're going to kick off with a look at Nvidia. Got to start here. Daniel's got Marvell, MRVL, which I definitely will get to today. That one looks very good, but up after hours. So that pop not helping us if we want to get in a little early, but it's all about Nvidia. It's all about their huge pop in forecast second quarter earnings. They obviously reported their first quarter numbers, then gave investors a look into the next quarter, which is going to be $11 billion worth of sales compared to the first quarter, $7.2 billion. So way ahead. I think, you know, any analyst, even the most bullish analyst would agree it was way ahead of expectations. So we saw a big pop in the share price there. It's something we've been following closely. Why? Because the trends have turned around. We can see how this process of trend change works. We go from the long-term trend ribbon impeding price action to the upside to supporting it. The candles go from black to white. We go from lower peaks and troughs to high peaks and troughs. And incidentally, it was here, it was in the news today, somewhere in that month there, Kathy Wood sold all of her shares in Nvidia. Very sad for Kathy. Not sure what she was looking at. I mean, I think for much of that month, whilst we did see a bit of a downturn, there would have certainly given you a crisis of confidence. Really, all we saw in January were white candles. As for whatever reason, let's face it, whatever reason, the funds that knew were already buying, not selling. And really from there, all I can see is opportunities to buy. And, you know I checked the tapes. On this day, I told you to hold it. And on this day here, I told you to hold it. And on this day, I said to add some risk. And on this day, I said to hold it. And I regret this day because the question was, can we still buy it? And I'd looked at this potential supply zone here and I said, oh, look, yes, but maybe it's a bit too close to the supply zone. Maybe the reward to risk isn't there. And I drew some reward to risk lines. And I regret that, but you can't tell the future. And up she went. So that was a very good call and a very good trade for us. The question now becomes, I know there are people on this listening. No, I know that for a fact. What do you do now? You probably did it last night, to be honest. You probably took some money off the table. And I don't blame you. And I think that candle is indecisive enough to warrant a minus 1/3. Okay. And as much as I know you probably took all your profit off the table. Okay. I think that's the model. That's what the model's, it's my model. So I don't think I know what my model suggests. It's as much as selling 1/3 there, which means we still have 2/3 of the position skin in the game. Now, this is not plus 2/3 to buy there because I know you can't buy it down here, but this is saying, you know, we've still got, I guess we're going to say retaining 2/3 of the position and resisting the urge to sell. Now, if the candles start to get blacker, if the candles start to have high upper shadows, long upper shadows, I should say, that would change and we'd start to bang out the next to the next. But we're going to give this one all the benefit of the doubt that a huge white, I misspoke, but again, it shows how my brain functions. This is not a white candle. So note from here to here is not a white candle, but my brain sees that as a white candle. And your brain needs to see it as a white candle too, because when you blend, let's call it candle 1 and candle 2, it was a fortuitous misspeak there, if that's a word. So we blend candle 1 and candle 2 together, you actually get a big white candle with a small upper shadow of about that big. Okay, from that high to that close. So that is actually a big white candle. We know big white candles represent just overwhelming demand in the system. Yes, there was some profit taking at the end, but you know, ordinarily when we see big white candles, we automatically think buying. And that's why I don't think we're going to sell the whole position there. So happy holder on 2/3 of Nvidia. So nice way to kick us off. I'm not saying I get them right all the time, but like the proverbial broken clock, it does occur. Let us get now to your requests there. Good morning, Tim. And Chris has a request here about, I think, well, AI in general, but PLTR and MU are a couple that are potentially playing in that space. And I'm going to, just while we're speaking here, I'm so sorry again, because for people that don't know, I do have an AusBiz spot straight after this, and I have to get my notes in before that for stuff I want to talk about. They're not just all questions without notice, and then I'm a little bit brushed at the start. So what I'm doing in the background, I'll show you what I'm doing in the background, is I'm loading up this because actually, why don't we do this? NVDA. It's probably not worth it because the problem here is the brokers wouldn't have updated their numbers yet. So this is the Thomson Reuters Refinitiv Icon spreadsheet. And even based upon yesterday's numbers, which probably haven't reflected all of the updates from the 40 brokers. I mean, it's impossible for all 40 brokers to have submitted to Thomson Reuters for them to display in their Refinitiv Icon product all of their estimates for revenue for FY24, for gross income, for EBITDA. You get where I'm going with this. So these will change, but on the data we have, even with that pop-up in the price there in Nvidia, the broker consensus is still showing around about 12% upside to $424. I'm not saying that's a reason why we're going to hold 2/3. It just is. That's less important to me as the technicals. High price there, 644, low price 222. They're still very much at a buy with 15 strong buys, 24 buys, and 9 holds. It's important to me that we don't see any sells or strong sells out of 40 groups of research analysts, each with half an alphabet after their name on their business card, right? These are the smartest of smarty pantsers out there working at all the best investment banks and hedge funds. None of them saw fit to put a sell on Nvidia. Isn't that interesting? And the EPS line is where I tend to go next. So we can see bottom left, top right. Yes, that's a tick on that one. Bottom left, top right, and continue into the future to 31% growth for a 35 PE, which, is high compared to the market, but I don't think is astronomically high compared to the growth that's there, and it's below my 40 where I tap out, and we can see is extremely low compared to what investors have been quite happily prepared to pay for Nvidia in the past. They're over 100, so 35, which is the medium forward PE that I use as a hurdle rate, and of course the lower that hurdle rate, the more punitive the valuation will be. So I think that is a really good valuation there that we can get. So my spreadsheet says up to 530 is the fair value there, but I'm not going to hang my hat on that. That's not what I do in these sessions or with that spreadsheet. I just say I can't see any red flags as to continuing to believe that I need to continue to hold some based upon the chart. That's how I do my analysis. Okay, I did promise to go to PLTR, which looks really good. I wonder what we said on this in the past. I wish we covered it on this day here. And I know this is me cherry picking, but I think you all agree, if you've listened to me long enough, on this day here, if you would ask me the question, what I would have said right there. 17th of the 5th, which is we would have seen it on there. It's a Thursday. So we would, it's a Wednesday is the 17th, but we would have done the analysis on the Thursday. Nobody asked me about it last week on the 19th. But I can assure you, and it's maybe a little bit of frustration, hey, I wish we could do these every day. It's just not the case. I don't have that sort of time, unfortunately. Maybe if you send an email to ThinkMarkets, and maybe if you open some more ThinkMarkets accounts, that might be possible. Maybe I can do some more stuff if you are a client of ThinkMarkets, where we can do these more regularly. But 100%, I would have said plus 1/3, unequivocally. Absolutely. But we can't go back in the time machine, unfortunately. We've got the chart we've got now. What should we do with it? Well, I can't see any reason to do much else. Last night's candle could have been better, however, with a higher close. So you can see there was a bit of supply coming in to push the price down towards the end. And I think it is reinforcing the supply that is already in the system from the candle from the day before. Okay, that's this shadow here. But otherwise, if you got in earlier based upon the stuff I taught you, 100% happy holder. And I think we had looked at it here. You can see where my scratchings are. And it was not a buy at that point in time. It's not a buy. And I've said to you so many times that I'm happy not to buy stuff, when it looks like this, because I know that if I'm patient, I'll buy it happily a little bit more expensive. And, you know, if I told you not to buy it at 750 and you think my name's Mud, you know I would have told you to buy it at 10 without any reservation. I don't care. I don't keep score based upon this. I can't get in there, but I want to label these. I want to point arrows at these numbers because these numbers here are what's holding you back. Okay, I wish I could draw in here, but the system's not letting me. Stop focusing on these numbers. These numbers are holding you back from making really good money in the market, okay? And also from preventing you from losing it too, because you get so fixated with these numbers. This is how you keep score. It's irrelevant what these numbers are. In fact, get those, if you could cover them, I wish we had the ability through the software to just take those numbers off, and maybe you could do it through some of the labeling, because who cares what the date is, right? So I could probably do this, let's do this actually. Let's go tools. You can't see you can't see these windows coming up. I'm going to go preferences, and I'm going to go. This will baffle the hell out of anybody who doesn't know me, who comes in next week and starts to watch my. Dare we do this? Let's go access text and let's go white. Okay. Yeah, what did that? It didn't work. Let's go tools preferences. It's got to work. Colors. Access text should be white. Maybe you can't even make it. Maybe it doesn't even let you do it. It's not. You know, I've definitely selected white. No, that's access text. Access text is white. I don't know. It's not letting me do it. That's how fixed and rigid the rules of technical analysis are. It's not even letting me do it. I can do the axis lines. Let's go apply. Yep. Oh, well, there you go. That'll do. We don't need axis lines, but hopefully. So I just went, oh, that's better. There you go. It's irrelevant what the price is. All that matters is probability of going up versus going down. I've taught you how to do that. And when does it change? When do those probabilities change and how do they change? Now we're free. We are free of the burden, of the restrictions of focusing on price, because they're not relevant. Because if you focus on price and I told you not to buy it at 750 and it got to 10, you'd say, I didn't buy it at 750. I can't buy it at 10 now. If I buy this at 10, it's going to go down. I should have bought it at 750. I can't get 750. You know what? No, I'll wait till it gets back to maybe 8 or 9. All right, with that in mind, let us continue this process. What do I do with PLTR? Look, I like it. I don't think I'm going to buy it tonight, but I think I'll buy it at some stage, okay? It's also a long way from the light green zone, and I've just pointed out to you what the perfect setup looks like for a turnaround play. And maybe some people who are listening to me the first time go, well, I don't get it, Carl. What the hell is a perfect setup for a turnaround play? Well, you can see how the price, how the red ribbon or dark pink ribbon restricts the price, okay? And then we can see how it supports the price here. Look at that. This is the key here. We go from causing dynamic supply in that zone to dynamic support. That's your key. We see the short-term trend is up and it's expanding at that point. I've drawn plus 1/3. We've seen the price action move back to higher peaks and higher troughs. There we go, if you don't believe me. Right. And that candle close to the green zone, in fact, this one here is also good too, but that's the one. Let me do all of this. Let me go delete all that because, let me keep that stuff because I can go here now. I've figured out how to do this one. I've figured out how to do it. So let's go PLTR. All right. So this is what I want to do for you. Okay. So we're going to go back here. I'm loving this no price thing. That's it. Okay. So snapshot that, right? Stick it up on your wall, somewhere where you do your analysis. That's what you're looking for. All I'm showing you is pattern recognition. You don't even need to know why. I've taught you why, but that's all you're looking for. If you didn't want to know why, and I'm fine with that. Who cares why? All that matters is this is as well. Okay, I have no idea what the price is, and it's not relevant. We're just looking for pictures. We're just matching up a picture we're looking for with what we see on the screen. Plus 1/3. Enough said. What color are we at? We're red. That's okay. Let's go plus 1/3 on this one, and that will sit there. No, I can't do it in there. I've got to do it here because AMD Broker is an amazing platform. Don't get me wrong. And it will actually remember all my scratchings. But you have to understand also that I am providing charts for various media organizations. And these scratchings get in the way. They're bloody annoying when I'm trying to make a chart for Ausbiz. So I've made my clean charts over here, and I've got my scratchings over here. And that's why you see me sometimes jumping around trying to figure out where I'm supposed to be. Look at this, 1/3, obviously here, but we've also talked about this, and maybe we haven't been as positive on it in the past. Very interesting. But I'm happy with that one. And I won't explain why, because I explained why ditto on PLTR. So thank you, Chris, for bringing these to my attention. Now, where we need to go next is to do a bit of work here, because I'm curious about PLTR. I know we've done this before. What did we say about it? PLTR.N. Maybe we didn't do it because you often hear me say, well, if I don't like the chart, why would I bother wasting my time looking at the fundamentals? So we have 14 brokers providing data. They have a price target of 30% below where it is. How funny is the market, ladies and gentlemen? Funny, not as in unusual. Funny as in ha-ha. Because these brokers will now go back that the price has gone up and start to upgrade all their price targets so they don't look so wrong. So I would take that 898 with a pinch of salt. But this is an extremely polarizing company. I don't think we've ever seen such a big spread, have we, of broker ratings there. 2 strong buys, 1 buys, 8 holds, a lot in the middle, and then three sells, 3 strong. I don't think I've seen a more hated company than Palantir Technologies. I wouldn't have a clue what they do, nor do I care. Okay. EPS line, not great, not bottom left, top right, pretty awful actually, but we can see the optimism kick in, 21, 25, 32, 40, to give us some pretty good growth going forward. Now that's if the brokers are right. The PE that we've got is 44.8. You know, I feel that's high, and it's it's not as good as Nvidia, obviously, compared to the growth versus the PE. Okay, so I'll say that, and that's why my system is saying there's not as much upside there, but it's still saying there's some upside. That 44.8, we don't have any data here, obviously, so ignore that. It's erroneous. It's still lower than that, but draw your own conclusion about that one, and it's quality in comparison to maybe Nvidia. And then we're going to MU next, and super interested here because we just called it a plus 1/3, adding some risk, and we have to make this one match up, of course. There we go. Oh, no compound annual growth rate, because it might not be right here. I'm happy to stand corrected. These are not my numbers, don't shoot the messenger, but it looks like it's going to lose $4.51 a share this financial year. So I'm not going to have a compound annual growth rate, but I can flick this around actually. I can do a little bit of magic here and skip this year and discount it back using the discount rate, which you can't see on screen. And it's gobbledygook, isn't it? Because of that jump. And then, you go 62.5, and then you're going for gobbledygook on Micron. So apologies, not apologies. It's just, hey, the spreadsheet's not going to be able to do anything. You can take that as with at face value, but I don't think you would, given these numbers are a bit batty. But what do the brokers say? Forget my spreadsheet for a second. What do the brokers say? Got 29 estimates, plenty of coverage there. They think it's about fairly valued around the current price. 4 strong buys, 20 buys, 8 holds, and 4 sells, mind you. Let us keep moving back to the charts and back to your requests. Let's go to Perry now. Perry wants to know what I think about STRL. STRL, not ringing a bell, but should be. Now, the problem with me making all the text in the platform go white is we don't know what it's called. Hey, does it matter what it's called? Should we look at something and go, oh, Apple, and oh, that's good. I know because I know it. There's my iPhone, right? Should we let the name of something bias the way we behave towards it? Maybe this is good too, not knowing what it is. Now, if you really want to know what it is, you look down here, okay, in the fine print. It's Sterling Infrastructure Inc. Common. Okay. We are breaking all the rules of technical analysis here today, ladies and gentlemen. I love this one. Could I add some risk to it? You can see, my methods. You can see places you should have done it in the past, okay? Hopefully your eye is being drawn to this giant, big, white demand push. Like, we want to own this now, which is where, for me, that's where you're getting in the past. But, that's keeping score, isn't it? What do you do now? I'm happy plus 1/3. I can't see any reason why you wouldn't get in. It's a long ways away from the light green zone, which increases the possibility of a mean reversion, which looks or will look or could look something like this, okay? And that's all it is. But for me, you have to get out of this habit of caring whether you get one right or you get one wrong. It's not how a hedge fund thinks, okay? And I want you to start to invest like a hedge fund. You have many, many positions, okay? You might make them a lot smaller each time. That's this 1/3 business. Many, many small positions, all working their little tushies off, doing their thing. Some of them are going to work out, some of them aren't. We've seen as they get better, or the ones that get better, we add more risk. We reward them with more risk so if they keep going, they make us a great whack of return. The ones that don't go well, and if this one starts to revert back to the mean, we're only dipping a toe in the water. If it gets chopped off, it becomes irrelevant to us over time. Okay, and that's my methodology. Now, some people gel with it, some people just can't handle it because they go, Carl, I'm worried that if I buy now, it'll go straight down. Carl, you don't know this about me, but I can assure you, as soon as I buy stuff, that stuff starts going down, Carl. Like immediately. Don't wait. Like the next trade is down, and it never goes back to where I'm always losing money, Carl. And well, it can go up. Let me just correct myself there, Carl. It can go up, but it only goes up after I get out. As soon as I sell, that's when it starts going back up, and it never goes down ever again, Carl. You don't know that about me, but it's something I've been keeping a secret. It's not the case. Okay, I like that one. Should we look at the fundamentals? Let's look at the fundamentals here for STRL N. Not a lot of data here, only 2 estimates, don't we? And we're probably not going to place too much weight on this as a result. But of the 2 that we have, a little bit of upside there. Target round number $50. We've got 1 buy, 1 holds. Let's keep all the default settings here, and with 17% EPS growth, is it bottom left, top right? Not really. There's one little blip there in 2019. That is pre-COVID, so you can't blame COVID for that. And then it's okay, but a bit flat through here. You can see only 1% growth and then expecting to pop up for whatever reason there. So again, I'm discounting a lot of this. Look, the spreadsheet doesn't hate it, but I'm not going to get too excited about that one, to be honest. Let us go to Perry's next request. Now, I definitely want to do Perry's. Perry's comes up with some really interesting ones. What's Perry's next one? MPX looks great. I don't think the candles are as clean. See the candles there? They're potentially with the presentation for some people, maybe on the stream. I can see it playing up. So it doesn't affect you Zoomers. And if you're on the stream, maybe get onto Zoom. It seems to be a bit more bulletproof. So I'm going to go out of 10. I've got no issues. A little bit of an upper shadow last night, but no issues adding risk. I think that the best candle to do it was 3 candles ago. This one here, that was the way to go. If I've just rejoined the stream, apologies. We're having some connection issues here. I'm going to go plus 1/3 on that one, and therefore I will head back here. Let me just do the next Perry's next one, BH. Oh, that's obviously not it. You can see some of the vagaries here of how. Oh, mate. Oh, Perry, I'm just going to give you all my money, mate, and you can just trade it for me because you are coming up with the most amazing charts, and that's the one there. I mean, that's the entry, and even there's pretty good. You can see here you see how the shadows. There's fewer shadows. There's less indecision. I think the candles are much cleaner, so it's a bit more like your first one. So yeah, look, it's a long way away, but I'd only be contradicting everything I believe by not typing this on the screen. But you have to allow me to say that there are better entries in there. But let's head to these fundamentals now on each of those. So we'll do them both together. And the first one in this batch here, MPX. First one was STRL, of course, but these next 2 for Perry. Let's see, Marine Products Corp. I know today's a bit weird. You're going, hey, I have no idea what that last one was called. I know it's code, I don't know what it's called. Well, it's Marine Products Corp. I've got no coverage there for you, Perry. And I don't think it was my favorite of the two anyway, but let's do this one because I think this is a cracker. Bilgari. No, it can't be Bulgaria, right? I don't know what that is. Is it Bulgari? No, can't be. It's coincidence. No coverage either on either of those. So we've come up bust on those in terms of doing a valuation. I don't care. Charts look great. Thanks, Perry, as always. Daniel's going to get me to MRVL, which, as I said, I'm going to be on Ausbiz shortly. If you're getting frustrated by the lack of labels, this is where you're looking over here, okay? Marvell Technology. It's a pretty picture. I gave you a picture before of Nvidia, didn't I? And I said, that's the one. That's the one you're looking for. And I reckon it's very close to this. Now, I wish I was here yesterday to tell you to buy it on the close, because it's actually trading up around here after hours it's reported. It's hashtagged the hell out of AI in their report, and it's trading up around $56. Maybe you'll get a chance to buy it if there's a little bit of a pullback on the open. I don't know. It's tricky because you don't want to see it pull back and keep going. But it's going to be a big gap. Maybe you just add a third anyway. Look, I wish we could jump in the time machine, go back, because, I love that. Look, give that one to me. Let me have that one at plus 1/3 there. Straight up for you, Daniel. I like it. Now, I definitely want to head here next because I think it's straight up by MRVL. So let's check out some of these numbers. Okay, 26. Great. We're back in business here. 26 brokers covering 18% upside to the 58.42. Keep in mind, it's trading after hours around that $56 mark. We've got 8 strong buys, I should say, 19 holds. 8 strong buys, 19 buys, 3 holds. No sells, no strong sells. Good. And EPS line is not bottom left, top right. Now, that's okay because we had a COVID and we had a post-COVID. So I'm okay with that. I can forgive that one. Let's see how we're going here. That's not good. And this is lumpy and bumpy. So, not saying you can't buy it, but I'm saying there's some lumps and bumps in there. Let's have a look at the valuation. 19.4 for 42% is ridiculously cheap. And that's why my spreadsheet is saying there's 60% upside. Okay. Is 19.4 a reasonable PE? Well, actually, this PE has been far lower, hasn't it, than many of the other ones we've looked at, but it's still, I think, a very appropriate PE, given the bottom of the historical 5-year range is 23. So I think we're holding it to a high enough account, and therefore, I don't think there are any red flags, anything preventing us from jumping onto Marvell. Let us keep going, and we're going to head back to the charts, and this time I want to do a couple for somebody who follows me on Twitter, and that handle there, JBD31, and they have asked for BA, which is not that one, but it will come up again, the vagaries of my AMI broker platform, and I'm better going for AZ, and that will help me find the BA. It just cannot handle alphabetic stuff. And Thomas, who is the creator and founder of that, maybe you can fix this bug for me, Thomas. Well, if I go that way, there we found it. There you go. Okay, a lot of work to get to the point where I wouldn't buy it, unfortunately for you, JBD31. I don't have a short-term uptrend. I don't have a long, in fact, I do have a long-term uptrend. I don't have a short-term uptrend. I don't have good price action, so higher peaks and higher troughs. And the candles are not predominantly white. Now, this is not a train wreck. This is a 5 out of 10. It could really go either way because we are in a well-defined zone of equilibrium. Okay. And that's just demand equals supply. So certainly up through here, we are in a demand side market. Now, if you want to go do the numbers on this, they do probably suggest that you tend to move out of an equilibrium phase in the direction you were heading prior to it, okay? But it's not guaranteed. It might be a 48, 52, or 52, 48, 48. You could, equally from this pattern, which is getting worse, crack to the bottom of that, okay? Could I hold it? Look, I can see a path to holding it only because it is still staying above this demand area here, but I would suggest that if you do have it, if it closed beneath 192.41, and that's a big number, so let's say if it closed beneath 189, I'm taking some off that to give it some room, then I would be exiting the trade. And I can't see, wouldn't it be more than a minus a third, because there's so many reasons not to be in this in the first place, right? I'll just type in, because just for consistency, I'll go close less than one, what did I say? 188. If I said 198, that's wrong. 188. Let's go 189. We're going to go minus one third for consistency, but I think it's more than that. Okay, let me change that to a color that is visible. There we go, move that across. So that is BA. No need to look at the fundamentals because I have no interest in the chart. Now, RTX is another one we've covered recently. Last week, this is not a prediction. Go check the tapes. This was not a prediction of what it will do. This was me telling JBD31 it's what it needs to do for me to get interested in it. And it's done the opposite of that. In fact, it has probably closed beneath this level here. That low is 93.34 and the close there is 93.12. It is really on the precipice. I can give it the one more day, as in you've got a nice shadow there, and I would suggest if it closes beneath 92.06, let's give it a little room. So let's say close less than 91.47 to be precise. For me, that is the minus one third on that one. But, you know, hey, I'm always happy to take any requests, and I think there's learnings in every chart. Okay, so keep them coming in. Don't assume that it has to be bottom left or the perfect chart for me to look at it. That is not what this is about. I want to look at all of your charts, even this one for Tim. Now, Tim, I don't like this one very much at all. I know Tim's looking at this for a turnaround play, so at least he respects that the downtrend is horrific. And I'd have to really zoom in to find any price action. I can't. Now, not to say you can't do the most amazing turnaround. I just think it's too early. And you know the stuff I like to see, and you know it's not there yet. So, hey, keep an eye on it. But no, you know what I'm going to say. I don't think this is ready yet. So it needs a bit more cooking. But hey, keep asking about it. We'll keep looking at it. And I think nothing more to put a plus one third on this and see it, you know, rocket ship emoji after that. David noting here, as well as NVDA, I'm also interested in the chart for SMH. I wonder if this is another AI. Ooh, this looks very good. Now, if you don't know what this is, it's the VanEck. Have a look down here, the VanEck Semiconductor ETF. So you're getting a bunch of semiconductor stocks. I think this looks very good. I've got no complaints. That big gap there would scare many. You know, it doesn't scare me, David. So I'm a straight up plus one third on this. We won't look at the fundamentals because it's an ETF. I doubt we're going to get any. Okay, but a happy one third on that. It's a toe in the water. Hopefully you can see that there were buys prior to this. I think any of those 3 out of 4 candles there were all buys. But happy to jump on here. Look up a little bit and see where there might be a bit of supply coming in. I know it's an ETF, so that's probably less relevant. But certainly around here, I think even for ETFs, that could be an issue. Let us head next to John. And John wants SOXX, which is a very similar theme. So this is the iShares Semiconductor. So we're going for a different provider here, but another ETF. So both look good. I have said plus one third in the past. And I think, was it Hanelli asked me about this last week? And I hope she hung on because there's your next entry there. But yeah, and I'm pretty sure I would have told you to buy it last week. Did I not? Not sure why I didn't put plus one third on the screen. But yes, happy to continue to buy this. Now, please, 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 do not go and, buy Numlock. Numlock came off for whatever reason, decided to quit on me. Don't go and load up on this one and then load up on the SMH because they're the same darn thing, okay? Treat them as the same trade. They're not separate trades. If you do one third on this and one third on that, you've really taken 2/3 of risk on the same thing. ACAD, but another way to skin the cat, if you like. ACAD, I'm going to leave that one there for a second. It's not where I'm going. Let me just close a window over here. Dominion Energy. Wow, that looks bloody awful, doesn't it? Don't buy. I can't tell you what to do. You have to do what you need to do with your money. General advice, of course, but I wouldn't buy that one. But hey, some value investors out there no doubt believe it's cheap. That's not me. And, God bless them, those value investors. Where would we be in the world without them? This is one I did tell you to buy last week, perhaps, plus one third. And John perhaps did buy it. And is wondering what we do with it now with that dirty big black candle. You know what I think about that, John. I don't like it. So I'm going to go minus 1/3. You've probably only got in a third. So we're done. We're dusted. You made a bit of money. Be happy with that and move on to something else that has a much better probability of doing what you need it to do, which is if you buy it, go up. Okay. Why did that big black candle come in? I'm guessing it's something to do with earnings. I don't think it was anything to do with that. I just think it's earnings, and that's it. It's enough for me to get. There's a little lower shadow there, but I don't like it. Look, not quite a species-ending event, but definitely on the way there, and enough for me to go minus 1/3 on that. Let's have a look at S. Just S. SentinalOne starting to look good here. You know, this is for who gave me that other one, Tim. I think, you know, if Dcfc does a bit more of this, then we could look at it. I don't mind it. I don't think we've covered this before. There's no scratchings on there. Would I buy it? No, not based upon that last candle, but based upon the previous candle, I would have added a third quite happily. Last night's candle, no. So I can go hold on the basis that everything there is setting up nicely for a turnaround, but I don't think I'm buying it tonight. Hey, it doesn't mean I can't buy it in the near future, but, you know, probably we might get another little lower shadow or a dip down there just in line with last night's candle. And then on the next pop up, if you get a nice little demand side candle in the green zone, that's where you probably get involved. What's a demand side candle? I know this is frustrating for the people that have suffered through this explanation so many times, but we always have new people coming on board and they don't know this stuff yet. So think back to when you didn't know this stuff. Now you do, but there was a time you didn't. So let's be respectful of the fact that people always coming on, and we want them to learn as well. Okay, they have deserve to learn like you deserve to learn at the beginning. So these are our demand side buddies, our demand side candles, whatever you want to call them. And yep, when you see those in the green zone, near the light green ribbon, in a trend that's turning up, it's usually a pretty good time to buy. That's all I'll say about that. Okay, I need to enable the chat. Nick, I know you sent that to me ages ago, but you know, I've been on a bit of a roll. Okay, chat is enabled. That I went to look for the chat and there's nothing in the chat. So chat should be enabled now. Everyone, sorry. I think everyone and attendees can chat with. Okay, all right. Anyway, maybe it's working, maybe it's not. Streamers, I know you've been very patient. Mark, over here, Mark with a K. Is that? I've typed in Mark with a K. Mark, let me tell you, your stock looks bloody awful, Mark. Do not buy your stock. But let's go to the one you requested, which is not MARK, but ADBE. And this is one, I haven't looked at this since here. The last time I looked at this was here, and I a while ago, it was about then, I put a little bit of money, just a little bit of money, into an online trading account for my son. And that was the first stock we bought there, Adobe. Okay, we made a little bit of money on it, and you can see why we would have got out. But I literally haven't looked at it since we've done that trade, because it hasn't given me reason to look at it since then. You should. In fact, you should probably jump on my son's account. He's quite good actually. But I like to think he's had a good teacher. Now, maybe not as good as Perry. I think you want to give Perry your money. I like it. I think it's good. I'm a little bit concerned about the supply. That was the beginning of me getting out of that last trade around here. My son's 11 and he doesn't know anything about fundamental analysis. He doesn't know anything about companies. He has no idea what they say. The way my son looks at charts, ladies and gentlemen, is the way we're looking at charts today. The name is meaningless to him and the price is meaningless to him. All he's looking for are patterns, okay? He's 11 years old, and maybe there's a message in there on how we need to think about the market. Okay, I can go hold if you've got it. I don't think I'm a buy for obvious reasons. Big supply zone, a little bit of a shadow last night. It shows you the supply at that zone is manifesting itself. These are all big fancy words for people that have never seen me talk before. There's your point of supply. Why is it a point of supply? Well, because pretty simply, the price was going up and then it stopped going up. Why do prices go up and then stop going up? Because there's a whole bunch of supply there. Why do they go down and then stop going down? Well, it's the opposite. There's a whole bunch of demand there. That's why we call these points of demand. Okay, we like to see rising points of demand and rising points of supply in an uptrend. That's what we call good price action, and that's what we're seeing here. So the price action is good. The candles are good. We've just got to deal with this. So past past POSs, okay, tend, not always, tend to behave as future POSs, okay? And that's why we're going to show this bit of respect. Happy holder, not a buyer. Where does it become a buy? We need to see what the supply side response is at that zone. So a little bit of a pullback maybe as that supply manifests itself in the market. The demand side soaks it up and we end up with another one of those little higher pods, okay, in the green zone. Where's the green zone? It just appeared there, okay? Also, by me changing the color too quickly, it changed that to red to green, so I'm going to do that. So you can see these green zones are rising, or at least now you can, okay? So what we're seeing here is our pods. Our pods are going up. Okay, let me show you, good color, okay? Let's go pod, let's go pod, and let's go pod, okay? So a little bit of a supply side response, and with the demand side candles, I won't draw them again, in that green zone, that's when I could happily add some risk on Adobe, but not until then for you. I can't remember asked the question. Over here, Mark, with a K. Thanks, Mark. Okay. CMG Chipotle. I'm surprised there are no scratchings. I feel like we've done this one before. Maybe we have. Maybe I've deleted the scratchings. I don't know. But I'm guessing, Mark, maybe you're on it. Maybe you're thinking about what to do with it. I'd be start getting ready to lighten the load. You haven't had any reason at all to do that up to this point for obvious reasons. Beautiful trends, beautiful candles, beautiful ribbons, beautiful price action. But I am concerned about this and this together. They are nasty together, okay? They're the opposite of our demand side candles. They're our supply side candles, our supply buddies. And I don't need to draw the perfect supply side buddies because they're pretty darn close to the perfect supply buddies there. So that's got my attention. I reckon, just based upon that, that makes me want to do this. Okay, now what's got my attention next is this one here, because it looks very similar to its other buddies over here telling me that supply is coming in. But the problem with, and this is an official POS, this is a potential POS, so I'm going to go POS star because it hasn't actually formed as a POS yet, because the only way it can form as a POS is if we get a lower high and a lower low tonight to cause the new short-term downtrend to fire. Short-term uptrend on this side, short-term downtrend on this side will officially make this a POS, okay? And that will be lower than the other one. And remember, if you're in the Swiss Alps, look over to your left, there's a mountain. Look over to your right, there's a mountain there. You must be standing in a valley. And the valleys are the pods. And we say my methodology, and this is how flippant my methodology is. Man, it's flippant. It just goes, I don't like risk. I'm getting out, okay? Doesn't matter what it is. Just don't like it. Market's not doing what it should. I'm out. The toe's out of the water. I'm going to go find something. I'm a shark. Hey, I use that analogy of dipping the toe in, avoiding the shark, but we're going to be like sharks as well. We are just swimming around looking for the next thing to chomp on, all right? We're not too fussed about what it is, right? We're just going to chomp away, but I need to get out of this bit of the ocean, right, and go find something. I don't know if that analogy works, but anyway. So that's the way I'm thinking there, and your pod there is 2040. You could go like a 1987 or something if you wanted to give it a bit of room from that round number there, Mark. So let me type on the screen so I can remember for next time, because I like to come back, like to see how my calls turned out, not for your benefit, just for my benefit. Close less than 19, what did I say, 1997? Yeah, minus 1/3 on that one. All right, how are we going for time? Not very good. I think I'm talking too much today, so let me accelerate here and just smash through the rest of these. Oh, Chris saying AI is actually a ticker code. Well, if it is, then surely we have to buy it just by default, don't we? Back here, I would have said, if you see that candle, okay, then plus 1/3. Did we see those candles? No, we didn't. So just letting you know, hey, I didn't tell you to buy it there. It was contingent. Do I want to buy it now? No, not based upon that last candle. And it is super crazy and super sketchy. And there's going to be a bit of supply up here, which a bit of a ho-hum on this one for you there, Chris. So look, maybe it'll be the best one out of the bunch. I don't think so. I don't think it requires any more of my attention just yet. Let's go to AMAT, which is Applied Materials. I think this one does require my attention. I love that candle last night. I love the gap. I love the high close. I love the fact that it is really doing a great job here of breaking through the supply. We've had a really nice test here, which kind of took it out. First test, right? And I love it. We removed a bunch of supply on that first test, and there should be even less supply now to impede our upward progress. And we can see that this short-term trend is just beginning. I love the candles through here. I love the price action that's developing. This is really good for me. I'm a big fan of this. And frustratingly, I've zoomed out and I've seen a bit of an area here. But I think on the strength of what I've got, I'm happy to go plus 1/3 on this one anyway. So plus 1/3 for me. This is a really nice chart. I know I was going to speed things up and not do this, but I want to see this for my own benefit now. AMAT, Applied Materials. We'll see the name come up there. Widely covered, obviously, by the brokers. 26 brokers. Price target roughly where it is, maybe a little bit higher. 7 strong buys, 14 buys, 10 holds, 1 sell. Not too bad. EPS line is not bottom left, top right. We had a bit of a problem in 2019, pre-COVID, interestingly, but done well since then. A little bit lumpy through here. The brokers are predicting, not my numbers. I'm not predicting anything. I don't predict. I react, ladies and gentlemen. I am not a predictor. I'm a reactor. EPS 9%, which is better than market, or slightly better than market, for about the market PE. So my model's going to go, hey, it's not bad. It's not terrible. Certainly that is fairly reasonable compared to the 5-year historical, and it's a good PE. So look, I'm a little bit more bullish than the brokers in terms of the valuation, but there's no red flags. There's nothing in there that tells me I can't go plus 1/3 based upon what we can see on the screen. Oh, where do I go? Let's go to CRWD, which we have had some scratchings on, and we've said plus 1/3 last time. Happy holder, no reason to do anything else but stick with it. Coming up to earnings, I hate earnings, Mark, because anything can happen. No, you've got to hold through it. Trust the chart. Trust that the demand and supply that's working in the system, the cash that is buying, you can see the cash is buying, the supply that's withholding or being withheld, they're doing it because they know what this number's going to be. Okay, you don't know what this number's going to be, but I suspect they do, and they're happy to be in it ahead of that. So I'm going to keep the faith, happy to be plus 1/3 at this point in time. And in fact, there's nothing in the chart to suggest I can't plus 1/3 again on this. It's doing all the stuff since the last time we looked at it, we want it to do. So happy holder there for you, Mark. And let's do SIRI, which is that one. I think that might be the one you're after there, Sirius Holdings. I can do this very quickly. Unfortunately, DE, so I don't like it. I think it looks horrible, unless you're asking about a short, but it's only a $3 stock. So not that interested in that either. I can't buy it. And you know why. Pink, black candles, price action's rubbish. So I'll pass on that one, sorry. Medtronic, now I don't know what the code is for Medtronic. I don't know all the codes. I don't know a few of them. But I don't know the code, so I can't do that one for you. If you want to put in, the code for me, ELF. Let's go to ELF for Mark. Mark, you've had too many after that, but jeez, Louise. Okay, what did I say here? Last time I said if it closes beneath here to exit. I'm not sure what that says. Maybe that was a minus 1/3 in itself. I reckon you would have been out of this right before it burst. So Mark, maybe cursing my name on this one. And hey, that's going to happen. I'm going to do this to you, and I won't just do this to you once. I'm going to do this to you over and over again. So you kind of just have to get used to it. I would tell you to sell stuff based upon what I can see in the charts. And remember, all I could see up to that point was lower peaks, lower troughs, big black candle. Hopefully I said to you something, Mark, and I hope I did, because it would have been completely incorrect for me to say, well, you've still got plus 1/3. Okay, minus 1/3, minus 1/3. We're still plus 1/3, and you've heard me say this a million times because of this. Okay, so at least maybe you're still loving that plus 1/3 in there. I think based upon last night's candle, you can plus 1/3. So let's just say, just so I know, I didn't tell you to buy a third there. I didn't, but you would have had a remain in on that one. Okay, happy buyer of that one. Elf Beauty looks amazing. Perfect candle last night. Okay, let us go to I think I'm done. Uranium for Jill. Hello, Jill. Remembered your name this time. Jill, are you a uranium bull? If you are, why? You are a sucker for punishment. I can't buy it. If you bought it before, you're in for some more pain. This is going sideways at best. I hope it goes up for you, but no, I couldn't buy it until it maybe closes above there. That's 32.30. So, let's see how that goes. No reason to do anything until then, because the price action's not good and the candles aren't good and the trends aren't good. You are a sucker for punishment there, Jill. I think I've done them all. I think we're at a pretty good time to pull the pin on it. So let me head over here and say that if you enjoyed today's session, we do sessions on Tuesday for Aussie shares, and the compulsory one is the macro. You have to get to the Thursday ones because that's where we do the big picture stuff and explain how it impacts your small picture portfolio. You can register at www.thinkmarkets.com/au/webinars. If you're not a client of ThinkMarkets, you really should be. And as I said to you before, look, I'd love to do more stuff, but obviously for clients. So make sure you go and open an account. And when you do that with Nick, say, hey, Nick, look, I think Carl should probably do a webinar just for clients each day, even if it's only just a quick bulletin, 15 minutes. Keep us appraised of the stuff he's seeing. But let's get out there and show ThinkMarkets you appreciate my work by showing them some love and giving them some business. You can trade shares, you can trade CFDs with us. We are an award-winning broker. That's why you do it. We've got offices all over the world. We have the best platforms and the best customer service. Most importantly, head to www.thinkmarkets.com/au for details. If you like what you've seen today, hit subscribe so you will get all of my video updates coming to your inbox, and hit the thumbs up button to let me know what you like what I'm doing so I continue to do more of it. Apart from that, today it has been an absolute pleasure chatting with you. All the best for your trading and investing until we catch up again. Bye-bye for now. Hey, before you go, don't forget that everything we've discussed today is general in nature. It has not taken into account your personal financial circumstances or particular needs. So before making any investing decisions, consider this information very carefully or seek the help of a financial professional. You can learn more about ThinkMarkets and our wonderful products by heading to our website and downloading our product disclosure statement, our PDS.